is a video about Isaiah 7:14 and its so-called fulfillment in Matthew 1:23. I decided I was going to read from the beginning of the book of Isaiah to really get an idea of its context. So I'm reading the first few chapters and it all seems messianic. This begins to get me worried. Maybe the Christians have a point. Then I get to chapter 6 and it jumps back to present time. So then I get to chapter 7 and it's very clear that the Jewish interpretation, if you can call it an interpretation, is correct. First, let's read the verse in question, Isaiah 7:14, in the King James version. Let's see, get there. Isaiah 7:14. Therefore, the Lord himself shall give you a sign. Behold, a virgin shall conceive and bear a son, and shall call his name Immanuel. Now let's see the supposed fulfillment in Matthew 1:23. Behold, a virgin shall be with child, and shall bring forth a son, and they shall call his name Immanuel, which being interpreted is God with us. Now from this alone, it certainly seems possible that the Matthew correctly pointed out a fulfilled prophecy. But now let's look at a more accurate translation found in the Jewish Publication Society's translation. Therefore the Lord himself shall give you a sign. Behold, the young woman shall conceive, and bear a son, and shall call his name Immanuel. The main difference is the different translation of the word Alma, which means young woman, as the Jewish Publication Society correctly translates. Also the definitive article the instead of a. Plain and simple, the word Alma means young woman. Ask anyone who knows Hebrew, it just does. The only reason many Christian translations translate the word Alma as virgin is so that they can retroactively allow Matthew 1:23 to be a fulfilled prophecy about a virgin birth when no such birth is ever prophesied. Now let's look at the so-called literal translation that I downloaded. See, the Young's literal translation, therefore the Lord himself giveth to you a sign, lo, the virgin is conceiving and is bringing forth a son, and hath called his name Immanuel. Still translates it virgin, which just proves it's a Christian literal translation, which means it's not so literal. Now the literal translation of the Holy Bible. So the Lord himself will give you a sign. Behold, the virgin will conceive and will bring forth a son, and she shall call his name Immanuel. Once again virgin, once again a Christian literal translation. Some literal translation, huh? Now, while the young woman certainly can be a virgin, it is not required by the word Alma. Now, or a young woman. To say that a virgin birth fulfills that prophecy is shaky at best. Now, if you look at the Scriptures translation, you'll see that they accurately translate it as maiden. This is another possible translation. Yet, funny enough, they still have Matthew 2:23 in their footnote. See Matthew 1:23. Let's go see Matthew 1:23 in their same translation. Which here they do translate it maiden, but in the Greek it is virgin, so that's a poor translation there. That's just trying to, I guess, be consistent, but it's another poor translation just in the Greek this time. Now let's look at the King James Version translation again. See how they translate it. Wait, let's go here. See how they translate it. A virgin. A virgin. If we look at the Jewish Publication Society translation, you'll notice that they translate it the young woman. Let's see. The young woman. Now, why is this significant? Well, if it's A, then you could denote some ambiguous, then that could denote some ambiguous lady out in the future that they do not know of at the time. If it's the young woman, that means it's a woman which they both know personally. Let's see which is correct. Let's look at the Hebrew Old Testament. Verse 14. Let's see here. Where's the word Alma? Right here. Alma. Young woman. See the he prefix. It's ha alma, the virgin. The is clearly there. That's what that is. Yet Christian translations deliberately change it to an impersonal a to make their interpretation more plausible. This is an incredibly obvious case of biblical tampering that someone with a very basic knowledge of Hebrew, such as myself, could figure out. Now let's read the whole chapter to see if we can get some context out of this verse, and see whether or not it's really a far-off prophecy about the Messiah. I'm going to read out of the Jewish Publication Society translation. And it came to pass in the day of Ahaz, the son of Jotham, the son of Uzziah, king of Judah, that Rezin, the king of Aram, and Pekah, the son of Remaliah, king of Israel, went up to Jerusalem to war against it, but could not prevail against it. And it was told the house of David, saying, Aram is confederate with Ephraim, and his heart was moved, and the heart of his people, and the trees of the forest are moved with the wind, as the trees of the forest are moved with the wind. Then the Lord said unto Isaiah, Go forth now to meet Ahaz, thou and Shear-Jashub thy son, at the end of the conduit of the upper pool, in the highway of the fuller's field. And say unto him, Be calm, keep calm, and be quiet, fear not, neither let thy heart be faint, because of the two tails of smoking firebrands, for the fierce anger of Rezin and Aram, and the son of Remaliah. Because Aram hath counseled evil against thee, Ephraim also, and the son of Remaliah, saying, Let us go up against Judah, and vex it, and let us make a breach therein for us, and set up a king in the midst of it, even the son of Tabeel. Thus saith the Lord God, It shall not stand, neither shall it come to pass. For the head of Aram is Damascus, and the head of Damascus is Rezin, and within 65 years shall Ephraim be broken, and that it be not a people. And the head of Ephraim is Samaria, and the head of Samaria is Remaliah's son. If ye will not have faith, surely ye shall not be established. And the Lord spoke again unto Ahaz, saying, Ask thee a sign of the Lord thy God. Ask it either in depth or in the height above. But Ahaz said, I will not ask, neither will I try the Lord. And he said, Hear ye now, O house of David. Is it a small thing for you to weary men, that you will weary my God also? Therefore the Lord himself shall give you a sign. Behold, the young woman shall conceive, and bear a son, and shall call his name Immanuel. Curd and honey shall he eat, when he knoweth to refuse evil and choose the good. Yea, before the child shall know to refuse the evil and choose the good, the land whose two kings thou hast the horror of shall be forsaken. So here it's clear. You have Pekah, the king of the northern kingdom of Israel, and Rezin, king of Aram, going to war with Ahaz, king of Judah. God then sent the prophet Isaiah to assure King Ahaz that they would be okay, that they would be divinely protected. He, his kingdom, and Jerusalem would dwell safely. He states that by the time the child, whose mother was currently pregnant with him, reached maturity, the two kings would have already failed. They would, in fact, be killed. See verse 16. The prophecy of Pekah's murder was fulfilled in 2 Kings 15, 29 through 30. Let's read that. 2 Kings 15, 29 through 30. In the days of Pekah, king of Israel, came Tiglath-Pileser, king of Assyria, and took Ijon, and Abel-Beth-Maachah, and Genoa, and Kadesh, and Hazor, and Gilead, and Galilee, and the land of Naphtali, and he carried them captive to Assyria. And Hoshea the son of Elah made a conspiracy against Pekah the son of Remaliah, and smote him, and slew him, and reigned in his stead in the 20th year of Jotham the son of Uzziah. The prophecy of Rezin's murder was fulfilled in 2 Kings 16:9. And the king of Assyria hearkened unto him, and the king of Assyria went up against Damascus, and took it, and carried the people of it captive to Kir, and slew Rezin. Now I was going to read Clark's commentary on Matthew 1:23, which almost gets to the point, the correct point, that's not about Jesus, but then he kind of goes off in a tangent about the word Immanuel, and never really follows it all the way through. So anyways, besides that, I hope you can clearly understand what Isaiah 7:14 is talking about, and see that's clearly not about Jesus, and it's even more clearly not about God becoming a man and dwelling on earth.